Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick with CBT News. Each year, thousands gather to see what tech gadgets and products will be unveiled at the most powerful tech event in the world, the Consumer Electronics Show, also known as the CES. Joining us now to recap the automotive-related releases is Tim Jackson, the former president and CEO of Colorado Automobile Dealers Association. Tim, thank you so much for joining us on the show to kind of give us an overview of what you witnessed out there at CES. It's a very exciting show. It gets a ton of traffic. People come in from all over the world to attend this. Very exciting stuff. So tell us, what were some of the key takeaways for you?
Sure. And by the way, Jim, on the event, it's just amazing. But it's in its 100th year. This was its 100th anniversary year. And
it was how many years?
It's one of the largest.
Did you say 100?
Yeah, 100. Yes.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Wouldn't you love to see some of the technology from the first year? You know what I mean?
1914, yeah. So they take over the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Okay.
They, from one end to the other.
Yeah.
They draw about 100, and their claim is about 135,000 attendees. That's over a 5-day period.
Wow.
But I can tell you that it seemed like, and I was just there on Wednesday, but for one day. But it seemed like there was 135,000, and just that day, because you couldn't cut that crowd with a knife. They were packed in there. It was
for dealers
amazing.
watching. That's like 4 times the size of the NADA in terms of number of people, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Or at least, yeah.
Yeah. So talk to us about some of the key takeaways for you.
Sure. Let's start with the cars. Honda, Honda and Toyota have been criticized for not being fast on getting EVs out.
Mm-hmm.
And so Honda has an EV coming later this year that's due in showrooms, the Prelude, I believe. But they unveiled 2 new EVs, and I think I'll have them on the screen there maybe for the audience. But one of them is called the, I don't know how they got the name on it, but it's the Saloon, S-A-L-O-O-N concept. And it looks a little bit like a flattened Cybertruck. It's very sleek. It looks kind of unusual.
Yeah, we're showing it on the screen. We're showing it on the screen here. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is better looking in person than it is in the picture. I'll say that for it. And it's the black Honda that I sent. And then there should be a picture of a white one, and that's a Space Hub, they call it.
Okay.
So those are not due out until 2025.
Okay.
But it's going to help catch Honda up on the EV side.
Wow.
So they unveiled both of those, and they drew a lot of attention. Kia was there with Kia, has done pretty well on EVs, but they have a whole new, that's almost like a sub-brand, and it's called the Platform Beyond Vehicle. So it's an acronym PBV. Okay. And there's Platform Beyond Vehicle. It's just think of it as commercial units mostly, but they'll be ideal on the passenger side for Ubers and Lyfts and hauling people. Others are van type or panel truck type, so they'll be ideal for hauling freight. And they actually unveiled one that will be a pickup, and you wouldn't expect that from Kia.
Yeah.
But they had that at the Consumer Electronics Show, and then and I think Kia's been doing a great job from a standpoint of product line and merchandising. So this will be definitely a boon for the Kia dealers. Then Hyundai was there, and Hyundai, and we'll get to I'll save the flying cars to the end, but Hyundai also had, and I'm not sure the use case on this, but they had the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which you've seen the Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's a popular electric vehicle model, but they have it in a way that the tires will actually go sideways. So you pull up next to a parking lot, you turn the wheel sideways and just roll it in. And then so you can get into a really tight parking spot. I don't know that there's a huge demand for that, but maybe in the cities there will be.
I think some other manufacturers have tried that as well. I don't know that it went over that big, but
Yeah. And then I'll also mention that Mercedes was there with their next generation G-Wagon, which will be all electric, I believe. And they actually had the 5 G-Wagons out on Las Vegas Boulevard that they were doing the circles. And so they could do the sidewalk. Let's say I think they call it the crab walk.
Okay.
The crab walk with those as well. And then VinFast. Now, VinFast is just, as you know, getting into the market in the U.S.
Yeah.
today, and I don't think their product probably is at the level that Hyundai and Kia and Honda and Toyota and Subaru and other international nameplates, are at, but that have had a running start. But VinFast was there in a big way at the CES, and they unveiled a pickup, so an all-electric compact pickup, and pickups are popular. So I think if they want to get the whole country covered in a vehicle in demand, the pickup will be advantageous for VinFast.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
It's actually a good-looking unit. They had some other products.
Is it an EV pickup?
Yeah, they're all electric.
They're all electric. The
It's
whole
battery
line.
battery electric.
Okay. So you mentioned a lot of foreign nameplates. Anything on the domestic side?
The domestics did show up for whatever reason. Stellantis announced that they were not going to be in. They were pulling out of the CES as a result of the labor
dispute.
deal that they weren't finalized on yet back in September, October, and they pulled out of it. GM did not go into this one, nor did Ford. Ford was there in a big way last year.
Yeah.
And some are saying that they missed out because it's a really big show and a great opportunity to show your product off.
Yep.
And I'm disappointed they weren't there, but some of them will be back.
Yeah.
There were other manufacturers there let's say with, there were Ford F-150s Lightnings on display with other product, suppliers where it was tricked out with something, but it wasn't put there by Ford, for example. Let me move on, and two other, let's say the cars of the future, the flying cars.
Right.
There were two
something near and dear to your heart.
Yeah. They are. Well, I'm getting to know a lot more about these things. So they were coming at us very fast. And there were two that were unveiled there. One is called the XPeng, XPNG. And you may know by the name that it's actually a Chinese-built flying car, because XPeng is also an automaker. So this is the flying car division of the Chinese automaker. And this model is called the Aero HT, AERO-HT. But they had a pretty cool design because they have two modules. One's the ground module and one's the air module. And so the concept here is you're able to, let's say if you're in the city and don't have a place you can take off from, you take out your air module in the back of the ground module. It's almost like the back of a Hummer EV or a canoe or something like that, and you take it out to where you can launch it, and then it just rolls out of the back of the ground module and becomes the air module, and you take off.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And did they have any kind of a demonstration of this stuff out there?
They did not, unfortunately, have a demonstration. That particular unit was inside, and I think I've got. Hopefully, we have two sets of pictures there. If you have a set that's blue and white, that's a car you could drive on the road and fly in the air. So That is really a true flying car.
That's
but
pretty
they
cool.
won't call it a VTOL because the VTOL is an acronym for vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, and it's something that I had never heard of until within the last year or so, when all these companies or startups are getting underway. But there were actually VTOLs being built back in the 1930s, and there was a company here in Denver, Colorado, of all places.
There you go.
That the guy built a car, but he designed the car so he could make it so it could fly later, and that VTOL is now coming up on 100 years old. And then there was another VTOL that was unveiled there, and that was by Hyundai. And Hyundai unveiled their Supernal. They started this. I've got a chapter coming out in the book on this, and they started the project about 8 or 10 years ago, and they anticipate now being ready to launch and being operational as early as next year.
Nice.
It was unveiled at the CES, and it's just an amazing machine. Hyundai bought the company, and so now it's a division of Hyundai, and that's unlike the way Stellantis approach or Toyota's approach. They're investing in others, but Hyundai bought the company. They you've heard the famous ad. They liked the company so well they bought it.
Right. That was the guy with the razors, right? That's,
Yeah,
that's
it
too
was.
funny. That's too funny. Well, Tim Jackson, thank you so much for joining us today to give us a kind of a heads up, or I should say a review of the CES event that took place in Vegas. As we said in the opening, that is one heck of a show. And I think next year we will be out there with the whole crew from CBT News to cover CES, and we'll have you as part of the team. So thank you so much for joining us. Really
Great.
appreciate
I
it.
would love to join you for that.
Yep.